Good morning. My name is Moses Mota. I'm the Student Ombudsman at the Tshwane University of Technology. My primary role is to mediate and adjudicate on student complaints. This is both for undergraduate and postgraduate students. So academic complaints usually range from a disagreement between a student and a lecturer about the incorrect recording of marks, and if the student is not getting any resolution of the problem with the lecturer, we encourage them to try and resolve the problem with the HOD. And if still they do not get any joy in trying to speak to the HOD, then the next step would be for them to approach the office of the Executive Dean. And in such cases, we understand that sometimes first-year students are a bit apprehensive to approach the office of the Executive Dean, and we encourage them to seek assistance from the SRC members. But it is important to note that students, whenever students have a complaint, they do not approach the office of the Student Ombudsman directly. There is a procedure that they need to follow. First, try to resolve the problem with the lecturer, and if you do not get any joy, then you need to approach the next reporting line of that lecturer, which is the HOD. And if in any instance that you do not get any joy or satisfaction out of the complaint that you've lodged, then you approach the office of the Executive Dean. Once all these three steps did not yield any positive results, then students are expected then to approach the office of the Student Ombudsman. So when a student approaches my office, I look at the complaint, establish the veracity of the complaint, because some students come with unfounded complaints. So I first have to verify the veracity of the complaint, and once I've satisfied myself that this is a genuine complaint, I then look at the side of the student's story, and once I have done that, I then go to the other party. I solicit information from the other party to establish if they are aware of the complaint. And once I have looked at both sides of the story, I first mediate, try to get a common ground between the two parties. But if the mediation process does not work, then I go to the step of adjudicating. So it means I'm going to request records, I'm going to look at the evidence that I can find and solicit from the incident, and then thereafter I will make a ruling. What is important is also to note that students also have a role to play. It is not only for the Student Ombudsman to try to resolve the problem. What students need to do is you need to keep a record of your communication with all the parties, so that when I ask if you have approached the HOD, then you can produce proof to say, yes, on this particular date, I sent the HOD an email and I received no response. Then in that case, then I would have the power then to approach the office of the HOD to try and seek a resolution for that particular problem. In some instances, we have postgraduate students who also have tensions between themselves and their supervisors. And because this might have a negative impact in terms of their academic progression, I also intervene in terms of that, also try to mediate. But if mediation does not work, then I make a ruling which both parties have got an obligation to adhere to. Once I have made a ruling, then I will compile a report that will be sent to the complainant, which is the student, and the other party, which is the staff member in this particular instance. But very often students do not understand the kinds of complaints that they have to send to the office of the Ombudsman. It is important that students know that it is only academic complaints that get sent to the office of the Ombudsman, because there are other structures that, for instance, deal with academic exclusions, for instance. There is a policy that deals with academic exclusions, and there are structures that have been set, and the Student Ombudsman is not part of those structures. So that is basically my role.